Walker, the Hornets have won 5 straight games. I think they should pick up a sixth tonight against the visiting Knicks. What's been the key to this recent run?
I think it's been their ball movement, Nick. And I think this is something they've done really well all season long. But also, if you look at the last five games they won, they've been even better. If you look at the leaders in the league for assists per game, it's the San Antonio Spurs coming in at about 28 per game. Hornets are second at 27.5. But the last 5 games, the first Pelicans victory they had 41. I believe that was the most assists that a team had recorded in a single game this year. After that, you had 33, 28, 33, 34 in this most recent Pelicans victory. It's been nuts. And I think what you're seeing is a lot more together basketball, whether it be Mason Plumlee, whose assist numbers are up, whether it be LaMelo Ball, who's not doing anything really below 7 or 6 assists, Terry Rozier sharing it a little better, Miles, PJ, everybody is getting a lot more involved. And I think this is what this team was always going to have to rely on this year. But I think when you look at the offensive efficiency post All-Star break and really in this last 5 games, it's been thanks in large part due to the ball movement and also the energy that comes with it.
Yeah, this team is averaging 34 assists per game over this 5-game win streak. Let's jump ahead. Let's assume that they are safely in the play-in, that they're not going to bottom out again on us over the next couple of weeks. What do you think is the most likely scenario that the Hornets will find themselves in? I would think it'd be play-in tournament, but within that, where do you think they land? Who do you think they have to be?
It all depends on Brooklyn. And for a while, I thought we were cemented in a 9-10 matchup between the Hornets and the Hawks. And I just didn't know who was going to get the 9 seed and who was going to get the 10 seed. Hornets beat the Hawks, get a little bit of leverage there in this 5-game win streak. So maybe Charlotte gets the 9, Hawks get the 10. But Brooklyn, they're still just a game ahead of Charlotte as it stands right now in that 8 spot. It doesn't look like the vaccine mandate is going to be lifted, so Kyrie Irving is not going to be able to play home games. If you look at like the 10 games that are available for majority of the teams in the league, Kyrie's not playing too many of them. And you're going to have to rely a lot, almost wholeheartedly on Kevin Durant, because also Ben Simmons seems to be legitimately injured, and he's not coming back. The guy you traded James Harden for, Andre Drummond's, Seth Curry, they're going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. My point being, it's like, maybe the Hornets can. Like, it's not as crazy as it used to be, thinking maybe the Charlotte Hornets could actually catch the Brooklyn Nets. And here's an interesting scenario for you. At that point, what do you want? Because would you want to be in a situation where down the line in the play-in tournament, you could host Brooklyn? That'd be great. Home court advantage, home playoff game, revenue. That's fantastic, right? But Kyrie plays. So then would you rather go to Brooklyn in a playoff game, but at least Kyrie's not going to play? I think I take the latter. Like,
what a bizarre scenario, but one that's absolutely true.
I mean, Kyrie just hung 50 on you. I don't want that again. And on 19 shots, that's going to be a crazy scenario. Ultimately, I think you dodge all of that and you end up facing the Hawks in that 9-10 matchup. But of course, it's not just 2 teams that make the play-in tournament. You got 4. And so we'll see what happens beyond that.
Tell me the Hornets can sustain what they've done the last 5 games. I don't think they're going to win the rest of them, but can they sustain this? Or is there a chance they could revert back to that horrible streak that came before
it? I think the thing that you're worried about reverting back to the ugliness that was like a month and a half of basketball was the shooting. But I think the passing is here to stay. One, they've already been pretty good at it, but also it seems like this team's kind of turned a new leaf and just they've already been close. I think LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, I'm not saying they've had a bad relationship. What I am saying is I think there was probably some frustration behind the scenes that they did a good job of not necessarily, letting leak out to the public, which is great. I think every team goes through this. I don't think the locker room was in turmoil. I don't want to get that twisted, but I think there were some problems here and there, especially when teams start to struggle. You start to have that sort of thing. But Mason Plumlee talked about this after the latest Pelicans win. They're all about the win now. He feels like every player on this roster only cares about the win. They're playing for each other, and you see it play out there on the court. I think that's a huge thing. So I think for the most part, the execution of the offense, as far as going through the motions, doing the right thing, making the right decision, I think that's here to stay, and that goes a long way. Make or miss league, that's the old cliche people use to describe the association. So we'll see if the shot remains there. But LaMelo's been on fire. Terry has had his moments, playing really well inside the arc too. PJ just continues to show up in clutch time situations. So I think that has a chance to revert back to the old ways just based off of pure luck and sample size. But I think the togetherness, the decision-making, I think that's here to stay for the rest of the regular season.
Walker Mehl from Locked On Hornets, thanks for joining us. Our full conversation is on the WCNC Charlotte YouTube page, and we're going to be talking a little LaMelo on there. All right, Walker, let's pick it up there. Just after the All-Star break, I asked James Borrego, is this kind of the time you hand the keys to LaMelo Ball? And he basically said, yeah, I mean, he's an all-star now. He's had that experience. We need him down the stretch. Have you seen that match what's happened? Has LaMelo kind of figured out some of the mistakes he might have been making to impede that? Where do you see him in his development as we enter the last 10 games?
I absolutely have seen that on the court. James Borrego is backing that up with his decisions to leave LaMelo in. There might be a teaching moment every now and then, but he's leaving him in crunch time situations. And I think you can go back to that first Pelicans win too.
Yeah.
There was a Hornets Real Access clip of Isaiah Thomas in the locker room pointing to LaMelo in front of the entire team saying, that's the best game I've seen you play. The more you do that, the better this team can be. Keep that up because you were awesome tonight. You controlled the game. You were the one that had everything in your hands. You were able to have the power, and that was the best game I've seen you play. They win 4 more after that. And even in this latest Pelicans victory, they scored. Their offensive execution was just phenomenal in the fourth quarter of that game down the stretch. And LaMelo Ball was running it. You look at those last 3 possessions. One possession is LaMelo running off a screen, kicking it across the court to PJ Washington. He attacks a closeout, dish to Mason, dunks it. The next play, it's LaMelo running off of a screen, slip pass to Mason. Mason freely dunks it. Then the next play, LaMelo takes Jackson Hayes isolation and hits a floater. Bang, bang, bang. LaMelo running the offense, 3 buckets, and the Hornets win. How great is that, right? Like to see your young star develop as the season goes on, not get in as much foul trouble, play his 30 minutes a game, which is about equal to what everybody is doing towards the top of the minutes logged on this team. That's the most beautiful part about all of this. James Borrego is trusting LaMelo more. I think LaMelo is earning that trust more, and you've seen that help out some of these victories.
All right, Walker Mehl from Locked On Hornets. Thanks again, and see you at the arena for a 6th straight victory, we hope.
Yeah, hopefully. It's always a good time, Nick. Thanks for having me.